You may have heard about Robert Kiyosaki's best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is one of the more popular personal finance books that focuses on the value of asset creation, managing expenses, and intelligent investing. While there are certain parts of this book that might require a little bit more scrutiny, Kiyosaki is a really good proponent of learning about money and how you can use the systems that are in place to your advantage. Today I want to share with you one of his more interesting concepts, known as the CashFlow Quadrant. It's one of those models that showcases what different professional paths can mean for our lives. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump right in. So the first quadrant is E, which stands for employee. This is where the vast majority of people live. It's the job that you have where you work for a company and you trade your time for money. Kiyosaki said that his poor dad advised him to go to school and get a degree so that he could get a job, which is perfectly fine. It is certainly the most secure, and if you want more money, you either try to get a raise or another higher paying job. The issue is that the tax laws are the highest for employees. The second quadrant is S, which stands for specialist or small business owner. Now, this includes things like doctors or engineers, basically specialists, a lot of smart and well-qualified people. There is a degree of security that exists here, but they also don't mind taking the risk of working for themselves. Over here, you still have to be working in order to make money, because you own the job rather than owning the business, if you know what I mean. As we move over to the right side, the first quadrant is B, which stands for business owner. Here, individuals have a system or product in place that brings them income through their business. A lot of the actual hours are put in by employees that the business owner has hired, with a lot of delegation taking place. Naturally, there is plenty of risk associated with having and running a business due to the ever-changing market and consumer demands. But when everything runs well, this can be a very fruitful source of revenue. The main difference between B and S is that you own the system in B, while you own the job in the S quadrant. Taxes are also much lower for business owners just because of how the taxing structure is set up. The last quadrant is I, which stands for investor. Successful investing is one of the truest forms of passive income. Through capital gains, royalties, dividends, or rental income, you can have a substantial cash flow that pays out over the long term. Not to mention that these individuals pay the lowest tax of anyone in the 4 quadrants. This is why someone like Warren Buffett has even spoken about how, as a result of the tax code, he pays just as much tax as a secretary. Essentially, everything on the left side is active income, where you trade your time for money and need to be present in order to provide value. On the right side, you have more of a passive income structure, which doesn't require your time every day. It's the whole making money while you sleep thing that you've probably heard of. Now, this has primarily been modeled considering the tax structure in the United States. But what I find most useful about this is the categorization of different professional paths and how you can use it to identify which box you want to fall into. To me, this model serves as a reminder that you shouldn't just be swayed into any of these categories simply because of the tax benefits or money potential of one over the other. I've always been a strong advocate of doing what you love and becoming great at it no matter which box you fall into. However, the key is to learn how you can become financially savvy, either through learning about taxation, multiple income streams, passive income, etc. Ultimately, this becomes a question of security versus freedom, because anyone can get rich in any of these 4 quadrants, but if you're willing and able to manage the risk, finding the ability to have some footing in the right side quadrants can have its tax advantages and position you better against rising inflation. My approach is to have some kind of long-term plan in place, have an awareness of the power of compounding, and work towards these goals over time. That's just what works for me. Maybe your approach is different. So let me know down in the comments below how you're approaching this, and while you're at it, hit that like button. Subscribe with your notifications turned on so you never miss any of my videos every single week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.